we are talking about time because it's all or nothing and everything in between, especially when it comes to chasing your dreams. You know how it is when you're working on something you love and you know all that you're putting into it. And then you start thinking, by this time, I thought I'd be further along. Well, Tony Robbins tells us most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in a decade. And that's why we're getting into the 5 reasons why it's okay if it takes longer. Be so committed that it doesn't matter how long it takes. If it took you 10 years, would you be mad? Are you even going to care if it took you however many years to get there? As long as you get there, so many people will dedicate 4 years to a college degree, but won't dedicate 4 years to your dream. Would you add another couple of years to get that master's degree? What about another 4 to 6 to get that doctorate? Treat your dreams like a college degree. Get on out there, get educated, and get it poppin'. In the midst of doing all the things, you can do all things and chase your dreams. Stay encouraged as we go on this journey called life, tackling everything that comes our way while we shine our light despite any circumstances we face. No more downplaying or dimming your light, because through the good, the bad, and everything in between, together we can encourage over everything. Welcome. I really wanted to get into the topic of time because it's one of those things that's so abstract because we feel like we have it, and yet at times it feels like we don't. It's too short. It takes forever. It's an all or nothing and everything in between, and sometimes all at once kind of thing. Because I do a lot of goal setting and planning, whether I'm doing it for myself or working with others, it's a constant dance. Sometimes we're all in sync with it, like a group of everybody on beat doing the Cupid shuffle, while other times it feels like we've entered into a mosh pit and it's just wild and crazy. For as much as I am a planner, I thrive in this space, yet I recognize not everyone does. So for my free spirits, I say create space for your free spirit to soar, and also have time that is structured so you can get results galore. It's one of those things that you can create the habit, then you can yield some major results. When you become the master of your time, you are no longer floundering around letting life live you instead of you living life. It was good old Benjamin Franklin who said, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. This is a reminder I actually had to give myself recently because I started looking at the time I've spent pouring into Encourage Over Everything. And you know how it is when you're working on something you love and you know what you're putting into it. And then you start thinking, by this time, thought I'd be further along. You thought by now you'd be doing XYZ and starting to feel that balloon of yours slowly deflating. Sound familiar? These types of thoughts pop up on us and can easily make you feel like you're second guessing yourself and wondering if you've been doing enough, doing the right things, or are you just wasting your time? Now, these kind of negative thoughts appeal to that inner self-doubt or insecurities of stepping into a new realm or working on that big dream. Let me just remind you, you are doing enough. You are doing the right things, and you are not wasting your time. In fact, when you invest a lot of time in your dreams or you're working towards that big goal and you don't do the right things, you learn, and with wisdom and experience, you get further. So an idea I really want to encourage you to consider is your goal, that big dream of yours. It may take longer than you planned, and that's okay because it's worth it. You are right where you are supposed to be. This is a truth that always pops me right back into neutral, Anytime I enter that time warp zone, you know how it is when time feels like it's fast and yet slow at the same time, or it feels like not much time has passed and yet the days and years have flown by. Time can be so many things all at once. And that's why it may not always be the best way to measure success. Use this powerful affirmation whenever you find yourself in the midst of the time warp zone. It is, I am right where I am supposed to be. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right where you are supposed to be. When I look at it that way, Encourage Over Everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. I am supposed to be right here with you in these moments. The same is true for you in your big goal or dream, or even the transition you are going through in your life right now. So, in this moment, please stop beating yourself up for not being further along or for making a mistake that you think may have held you back when ultimately you learned from it. Without that mistake, you may have done worse in the future because you didn't gain the wisdom you have now to make better moves going forward. So stop beating yourself up for not being further ahead. If you were meant to be there, you would be. Boom. So while you're at it, stop beating yourself up in general. Okay. These kids ain't gonna raise themselves. You are raising them. This job ain't gonna work itself. That business ain't gonna build itself. You gotta work it and build it to provide for yourself and your family. This schooling ain't gonna educate itself. You have to get educated to get that degree or certification. Feel free to add anything to this list that you are doing while working towards your dreams. You better salute yourself for all that you're doing and still moving in the direction of making your dreams come true. To be better and build better for your future and legacy, you are right where you're supposed to be. You can't get to where you're going without being here first. Us humans, we love being in a rush, don't we? When we were kids, we wanted to grow up so fast because we thought that once we were grown, we could do whatever we wanted. And if you have teens like me, you might be seeing this in real time. And if not, think back to when you were a teenager. It's like a part of the teenager DNA to think they ready before they really are. Then, even once we got here, we realized being grown ain't as easy as folks made it look. It's not always fun, and there are parts that suck. But in all actuality, there are parts at every stage that suck. We just don't gain an appreciation for the stage we are in while we're in it. Now that you have that wisdom from those years, apply it to now where you are. Don't go digging up seeds you planted to see if they're growing. Those seeds need time to grow. You have to water and nurture them. Growth is gradual. You may not always recognize it while it's happening until significant growth has been made. Every once in a while, I love to cut my hair. It's easy to handle and care for. It's super cute. Hey, I just love it. But once I decide to grow my hair out, I know I have to go through that dreaded in-between stage, honey, where it's not short, but it's not yet long enough to do any of the long things I want to do with it. It seems like it takes so long for my hair to grow from that in-between stage to the long stage. It's so gradual, and it doesn't even seem like it's happening sometimes, but it is. Growth is the same way. It's occurring even when you don't see it, unless you are really paying attention. If you are journaling and reflecting every day, you'll see growth happening in real time because you're observing, noticing, being aware. It's that level of awareness that gives you something to celebrate and fuels you to keep going and growing. You are worthy of self-care every day, not just on a Sunday. Join the email list and I'll send you all the deets. In the Encourager's Insider Guide to Self-Care, get my easy DIY tips for simple ways to make self-care a part of your daily routine, plus some bonus goodies. And if you need more help incorporating self-care into your world on the regular, I got you. You can join right on the blog or go to theshow.encourageovereverything.com/self-care freebie. You'll be on my VIP list to get encouragement and so much more sent right to your inbox. Join me on my quest to make self-care the norm, because you deserve to be a priority on your own list. When you don't use the wisdom that you've gained, you can fall into the trap of wanting everything so fast and instant, like pop it in the microwave for a few minutes and boom, it's done. You know, I really blame this on the Jetsons. Because as a kid, I really thought that I was going to put a small square in the microwave and pull out a full course dinner. I mean, I wish I could do that every night. You feel me? That's the same kind of success we think we want. But you don't really want that one-hit wonder. You want longevity. You want that syndication kind of money. You need this time to get ready, to prepare, to grow, to let go of things that are no longer serving you, to release, and to embrace the new. So appreciate this time of building. Once you learn how to build here, you can build better later on. The season of preparation is a gift. Open it with a gracious yet humble heart and be ready to receive. Now, I love this quote by Tony Robbins. He says, "Once you have mastered time, you will understand how true it is that most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in a decade." Now, the guru has spoken. You already know he could not be more right about this. So in setting those goals, we often overestimate what we can do in a short amount of time and underestimate what we can do in a long period of time. Meaning you set this big lofty goal, but you don't factor in everything it could actually take to make it happen, whether knowingly or unknowingly. So you set time frames like 6 months, but what if it takes 16 months or 6 years? The bigger question is, are you going to stick with it and do what you set out to do when it takes longer than you planned? Goals are so cute when you first set them up, right? It's beautiful. It's like watching a movie trailer that you just can't wait to see. Imagine seeing the Notebook trailer, only this time it's starring you and the most handsome leading man of your pick. You see this beautiful montage of all the highlights, a few moments of opposition, but it's this dreamy, whimsical love story you just know is going to have a happy ending. What we don't visualize are the challenges that might come up. Life is going to happen, and it's often unexpected and super random. Maybe it's an expense you didn't see coming, health issues that pop up, something happens with the kids, or there's some rift in the family or in an important relationship. You're hit with some massive change and it totally blows up all your plans. Now, the time you had dedicated to work on your dreams has become compromised or consumed by this life change. How are you going to respond? This is where the planning gets deep, because you've got to take into account the possible pitfalls. Sometimes it's people, places, or things, some sort of circumstance outside of you. Otherwise, real talk, it's you. It's the days you are not inspired, motivated, distracted, tired, or to tell the truth, times you spend procrastinating. The path to your dreams is not linear. You start out on the yellow brick road and somehow you end up on some back roads or rough and rocky terrain. Or maybe next thing you know, you're in the DeLorean, like Back in the Future, and there are no roads. Regardless of the path, when you find yourself watching the clock and calculating the time spent in comparison to the progress you've made or haven't made, are you going to quit? Are you going to give up? The answer is absolutely not. You are here, so I know you are a winner. Just as much as life happens, you are allowed to take a step back, recalibrate, and catch your breath, beloved. Life may knock you on your bum. It's okay to take a break, but don't quit. Everything happens in divine timing. It may not be your timing. It may be God's timing, and you know He is always on time. You need to be here in this space to get all you need to pave the way to where you're going. In essence, you're building your own yellow brick road. It might feel like brick by brick at times, and other times you might look back and can't believe just how far you've come. Know there is purpose in your path. Ooh, I need that on a t-shirt. That is fire. Your path is unique to you, so embrace it. We touched on this earlier, but this idea I really want to dive into more. It is your ability to plan and shift as needed. We all know how important planning is, but one of the most critical components of your planning is your ability to shift. Yes, hitting deadlines right up at the top of the list has an important priority, and it's great when you hit them, but what happens when you don't? It's easy to give yourself a hard time when something you plan to do starts showing up within your top 3 things to do several days in a row. Grant yourself some grace. It's okay that that same task had to roll over and keep rolling over until it gets done. You've got to be able to shift and pivot as needed to adjust because life is still happening. So you got to be able to have that flexibility to roll with the punches. You should be doing a check-in to review weekly what worked and what didn't work. This way you can shift and adjust accordingly. I always recommend a weekly check-in because if you only did this monthly or quarterly, then that's how much time would pass before you recognize something isn't working and you either need to tweak it or throw it out altogether. You don't want to continue to do what's not working and not getting you closer to where you want to be and gaining the results you want to see. My pro tip to share is to do this check daily. If you're journaling each night, you can capture what didn't work for the day, and that way you aren't carrying it over into the next day. Okay? So don't be afraid to try new things. When you aren't married to an idea, you can easily toss it once you've tried it and see it's not giving you the results you want. You have to have discernment to be able to look at your ideas and eliminate and toss versus ideas you need to tweak or adjust, and give a certain amount of time to see if it's actually going to yield you the results that you're looking for. This is a powerful mindset shift to make that will set you free. When you look at things as an experiment because you're trying out an idea, it takes the pressure off of having to be right and get it all right. You can really find your way here when you're willing to just give things a try, monitor and adjust. Your commitment belongs to knowing you will achieve the goal. You will make that dream come true. The process and how it unfolds is a part of co-creating. You make your plans, you shift, tweak, and adjust. You keep doing your part. The detours and derailments, they're all a part of the process too. It all works together to help you get where you're going. You hear the saying all the time, fall in love with the process. The famous quote from Eric Thomas is, fall in love with the process and results will come. You are actually in process for a lot longer than you are in the outcome or the result. As you are in process, you're becoming a greater leader, whether it be for work or in your family. You are building other great skills, talents, and capabilities that are going to really be needed at the level of success you're working to achieve. This is where growth is happening. This process of becoming who you need to become in order to achieve what you set out to achieve, whether it be a great parent, partner, business owner, employee, student, and any other roles you serve. The process of leveling up and evolving requires growth and grit, which isn't always linear either. When you make it to that outcome or results, you'll be there and celebrate by having that party or winning that award. And then next thing you know, you are on to the next big thing or dream that you want to achieve. So fall in love with the process of getting there, being on your way, learning in action, practicing the skills, honing in and perfecting your craft. The journey isn't just about arriving. It's just as much about the road to getting there as it is arriving at the destination. The next idea I want to get into is to protect your peace along your path. Now, as more and more the days pass me by, I find myself opting for peace on these nerves. If it's going to frustrate me or rattle my nerves, I don't want it. I was driving home recently after my son's track meet. I mean, first of all, any track meet parents out there, because you know it's an all-day thing. We had been up and out of the house since 7 a.m. I was baking in the sun all day, and after having an early dinner and driving home, I just wanted peace and tranquility when I ran into some light traffic. Now, I had two options here. I could stay on the freeway behind the looky-loo who stops 2 miles back and get home faster, or I could take the streets and get home with my nerves intact. Every chance I get, I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing my nerves intact every time. It did take me more time to get home, but I cruised through my neighborhood singing my favorite songs, noticing all the beauty that surrounds me. The trees in the park look more spring-like since I last seen them. Passed by my favorite neighborhood restaurant and made a mental note to self, brunch reservations are in my very near future. Thank you very much. And I wasn't wound up from the stress of traffic. It was so peaceful. Sometimes there's road work and you can't help but get detoured. Other times you might opt to take your own detour and take these streets instead of the freeway. But you get there, right? That's really the point. What matters is you get there. The hustle culture is shifting. Now it's more like hustle harmony. You want to achieve your goals, but you don't have to sacrifice your relationships. You can make time for them. You can achieve your dreams without sacrificing your health, mentally, physically, emotionally, or your overall sanity. We've been in this loop of running ourselves ragged to the finish line and then pounding on the makeup when we get there to hide the bags under our eyes. I mean, how can you really enjoy the celebration of achieving your goals without having your self-care as a priority? I mean, is it really a win if you're exhausted, unhealthy, and unable to celebrate? I don't want you to, and you don't have to. Go ahead and get the Encourager's Guide to Self-Care so you can take great care of yourself as you move towards your dreams. Imagine showing up to a party to celebrate you for achieving your dreams, but you show up tired, exhausting, looking like you overslept and didn't have any time to brush your hair and get it together before you make your grand entrance. You don't have to show up looking a hot, horrifying mess, honey. You can show up rested, skin glowing, looking like $1,000,000, ready to walk that red carpet. It's possible when you invest in your self-care daily. Next time you want to skimp on your self-care, ask yourself how you really want to show up to your party. How do you want to show up at the finish line? I'm talking more of the Tiffany Haddish. This is what success looks like. Hey, hey now. Define what your self-care plan is for you in this season so you can be at your best to do what it is that you set out to do. You've got to recognize you need to be rested, have energy, have the right mindset, and be in the space to create and generate. You can't do it as much if you're tired and snapping at folks because you tired. It can be done, but why not feel good on your way to the top? The journey doesn't have to be one of struggle and strife, on Team No Sleep or Sanity, just to prove you earned a spot at the top. Your spot at the top is right there waiting for you, and it'll be there waiting for you when you get there. No one can take your spot. It was made just for you, and it belongs to you. So you can be at peace on your path to becoming. Your self-care is a key component in your peace. It gives you the foundation to discern what isn't worthy of your energy so you can shift to what needs your focus. Make it a part of your foundation and the basis you operate from within this space. For additional support with these topics and to work with me one-on-one, get your free strategy session by leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform. Take a screenshot and DM me on Instagram at Encourage Over Everything. Let's design a plan to eliminate the overwhelm, maximize your action, and support you as you chase your dreams while doing all the things. Earlier, I said there is purpose in your path, and I just had to come back to this one because it was so good. It deserves an encore. You must remember you were given this mission, this vision, this dream in your heart with purpose. This path that you are on is on purpose. It is not by accident that you are here, moving in this way, facing the challenges you face and the triumphs that you experience. Just as all is happening in divine timing, your path is paved in purpose. When Oprah Winfrey sought out into journalism in 1976 and started her own show in 1986, look at what she accomplished in 10 years. Then she went on to have the highest rated show of its kind in history and ran in national syndication for 25 years. And let me just say, Oprah has not stopped. She is an incredibly successful host, TV producer, actress, author, and philanthropist. Might I add, again, Oprah's still going? She has the own network, her own magazines, and Oprah Daily, just to name a few. If you are not familiar with Oprah's history, check it out because it's absolutely fascinating to know the very humble beginnings she started from and to see all that she's accomplished. She went from being fired from her job as a news anchor because she couldn't sever her emotions from the story she reported to being, for the longest time, the only Black billionaire. Now, let me just pause here in case you are having thoughts like, well, that's Oprah, or I'm not, and fill in the blank with whatever insecurity you want to. Let's address this head on. No, you are not Oprah. And you may have whatever insecurities you have in this moment. But what if Oprah said that about Maya Angelou or someone she really looked up to? What if Oprah decided to play small or let her insecurities lead her to stay in the background or in a job that didn't fill her soul? What if Oprah said, my gosh, it's going to take me all these years to get my own TV show. I'm just not going to do this. Her dreams didn't stop there. She just got new dreams. She didn't stop 6 months or even 6 years on her journey of journalism. From 1986 to now, 36 years later, from the start of the Oprah Winfrey Show, not only is she still going strong, the beauty of it all is that there is no end in sight. I encourage you to be this kind of dedicated, this kind of committed, this faithful. No, you are not Oprah, but there is so much purpose in you. And the only limitations you have are the ones you set in your mind. Be so committed that it doesn't matter how long it takes. If it took you 10 years, would you really be mad? Are you even going to care if it took you however many years to get there, as long as you get there? So many people will dedicate 4 years to a bachelor's college degree, but won't dedicate 4 years to your dream. Would you add another couple of years to get your master's degree? What about another 4 to 6 to get your doctorate? Treat your dreams like a college degree. Get on out there, get educated, and get it popping. When you look at those who've made it, it took years to get to the point you see them at today. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. You don't always get to be at day one. Seeing them start from humble beginnings to the glow up you see before you today. I can't wait to be chatting with you over a cool beverage with an umbrella in it, talking about how far we've come in 10 years. Don't focus so much on how long it's going to take, and focus more on who you'll become and the impact you'll have made once you get there. It's not about the time it takes when there is so much progress that you've actually made. Time is relative. It's fast and slow. It's standing still and zooming by at ludicrous speed all at the same time. Don't use time as the only container you use to measure if you should chase a certain dream or keep going towards your desired outcome. Yes, use discernment to know when you need to shift or adjust. Define your enough point. What needs to happen in order for you to decide this is it? And now it's time to move on. But you have to have given it your all and earned your way out. Protect your peace along your path. Have your self-care as a part of your foundation to take great care of yourself while you're on your way to achieving your dreams. You don't have to look like a hot, horrifying mess coming across that finish line. How do you want to show your kids or those looking up to you how it looks to reach the finish line? How do you want to show that village who raised you and all those who you look up to that actually sacrificed and paved the way for you to take the baton and run it the distance? You do what you do in honor of your special someones. Protect your energy so you can create and generate from this space. There is purpose in your path. It's filled with gold as you grow. Every obstacle, challenge, setback, detour, or seemingly wrong turn, all the way through, every victory is a gem on your path to becoming and growing to that next level at the finish line of your dream. So fall in love with the process, as you'll be on the road to becoming for quite some time. It just might take longer than you expected, and that's okay because it's worth it. Your dreams are worth it, and so are you. Encourage over your time and your perspective on it, because together we can encourage over everything. Thanks for tuning in. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Please take a moment to leave a review. All you have to do is rate by lighting me up with some stars and leave a few words. If you share this episode, let me thank you in advance for sharing positive messages, because we all know some peeps in our lives who could use an extra dose of encouragement. And I'm throwing virtual confetti right now to celebrate you for finishing this episode. I don't know about you, but I'm not ready for this to end. So if you want more, check out theshow.encourageovereverything.com for literally all things Encourage Over Everything. Stay connected and join the email list. Get that VIP treatment by being the first to know all the happenings and get encouragement sent right to your inbox. Theshow.encourageovereverything.com has everything that you're looking for, from show notes and all of the info on today's sponsors. And if you are looking to connect with other fellow encouragers, be sure to join my exclusive community at the Encourage Over Everything Facebook group. I can't wait to connect with you in the next episode. Remember, there isn't anything that we can't get through because together we can encourage over everything.